Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today, Halloween night, October 31st, of course. This is my final video of my 31 days of horror, all the things I've watched, and I am unfortunately sad to say I didn't get my goal. I was to get to 150 films. I only got to 145 because after I finished one of the films, I realized I wasn't going to be able to pound out 6 films in 4 hours, no matter how hard I try, because 4 of them were blind buys, so they're put on the back burner, but I plan to get to the blind buys I didn't watch before the year is out. So, on that note, I will get started. So I watched Terror Train, really good 80s horror film. Candyman, really, really good. First time viewing, Piranha 3 Double D. Boy, did it suck. 2 out of 10 for me. It was so lame. Double the D's. Yeah, well, this could have just been a goddamn porno for all I care, but I mean, a porno probably had better dialogue. I did not like this at all. So it's going in the pawn pile. Then another first time viewing, House at the End of the Street, which I know not a lot of people liked, but I did, and I really liked the creepy ass ending. The little twist at the end. And this got 7.5 out of 10 for me, so House at the End of the Street. And another first time viewing, Scanners by David Cronenberg, and is may not be known. I am not a big David Cronenberg fan. I've only liked a couple of his movies, like The Fly, Dead Zone, History of Violence, and Eastern Promises. But I was very surprised by this, and I love the score to this movie. Little did I know the score was done by future Academy Award winner Howard Shore, who did Lord of the Rings. So yeah, this got an 8 out of 10 from me. Really good 80s horror film. Another great 80s horror film, My Bloody Valentine. Can't go wrong. Another first time viewing, Diary of the Dead. I know a lot of people hated this film, but I actually quite enjoyed it. 7.5 out of 5. 7.5 out of 5? 7.5 out of 10. That's what I really enjoyed. I really like these found footage films. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are just plain terrible. But this I quite enjoyed. Another first time viewing, finally watched The Ward, which was okay. It got a 7 out of 10 for me. But it's not up to Carpenter's usual form, and kind of disappointed he didn't do the score to this. Has a really good cast, and but overall, it kind of left me disappointed for a Carpenter film, but I will keep it because I really liked it. And finally watched The Purge, and I quite enjoy this. I actually got some shit for liking this, but yeah, and I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was quite enjoyable, but the downer was I never got around to the sequel. Damn, I kept putting some of the blind buys off, and I just ran out of time, but it will be one I watch before the year is out. And then I watched The Evil Clergyman, which is a 30-minute like anthology film. Really good. Well, you got, you got Jeffrey Combs and Barbara Crampton, and you got David Warner, so awesome. I really like this. It's short, but it's really good and really, really creepy. The next one I watched, I forgot to grab my ticket stub, but I watched The Last Witch Hunter in the theaters, and I very much enjoyed it. I know it got shit on and didn't do anything at the box office, but my cousin and I went, and we quite enjoyed it. And think of it, last year we went to see Dracula Untold, and we quite enjoyed it. So both are not really horror films, they're more fantasy, but there is horror film like elements, witches, Dracula, vampires, all that stuff. So I added it, and I quite enjoyed it. I gave it a 8 out of 10. I just had so much fun with it. So next one up, The Strangers. Really good, really creepy. Doesn't involve so much gore. It's more the atmosphere and the scares. And then I did John Carpenter's thing. Can't go wrong there. It's epically awesome. Another first time viewing, Survival of the Dead. and my god, this was awful. It was very, very bad. I gave it a 2 out of 10. I was gonna put it in the pawn pile, but then I have his other films from his Dead series on Blu-ray all the way back to Night of the Living Dead. So, yeah, I was very disappointed. So there we go, Survival of the Dead. And then I returned to another John Carpenter classic, Prince of Darkness, which is really, really good. I very much enjoy this film. I think it's a very underrated classic of his. And then Children of the Corn, another great 80s horror film. Can't go wrong there. It's really creepy. Same thing, doesn't require a lot of gore. So, childhood favorite. Have to watch The Monster Squad. Watch it every 31 Days of Horror. That will never change. It's awesome. Can't go wrong. And then I watched The Town That Dreaded Sundown, the original. Thought about doing the remake, but nah. Really great. Again, no blood, just the creepy factor is good. Okay, and the movie I've talked about so many times since I've been here on YouTube, since 2009. Whoa! You stay. Event Horizon. Everybody here knows my feelings on this film. You stay there. I absolutely love this film. This was the first horror film to really fuck up my head. Gave me nightmares for 6 months. And I know you can laugh at that, but the atmosphere, the creepy factor, and the fact of what happened to the last crew of the Event Horizon. That imagery I'd never seen in a horror film up until that time. So it really screwed up my head for a long time. So yep, there we go, Event Horizon. And then Lord of Illusions, which I didn't get to see till a couple years ago. I'm happy about that because I appreciate it a lot more now. Really great horror film. And then watched Friday the 13th, just the first one. It was the only one out of the series I wanted to watch. Great classic. And then I watched... Will you stay there? My god, listen to me. Night of the Living Dead Reanimation. I think we know why I got this movie, and boy did it suck. Jeffrey Combs was the only good thing about this movie. This guy, who was in the Wishmaster film, now I remember why I hated Wishmaster, because this guy, to me, he can't act. He's got as much talent as a board. I just found him so unentertaining and so bland and so boring, I mean. But yeah, the whole movie was very, very bad. So, 3 out of 10. And after that, went to another great classic, Hellraiser. Can't go wrong. Clive Barker's greatest film. Though I think he's only done like 3 or 4 films. And then I watched Brian Yuzna's Society. Wow, was this different, twisted, and fucked up. But I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. I wanted to see it because I've seen a lot of people do videos of this movie, particularly of this Arrow Video edition. And I like Bride of Reanimator, so... But yeah, what a twisted little fucking film. And then I watched Shaun of the Dead, which was the last one of last night. Great, great film. Now on to the ones I watched today from the last bunch from my 31 Days of Horror. The first one was The Babadook. Oh my god, this was such a disappointment. I know everybody hails it as one of the greatest horror films of all time, but my god, I wanted to kill the mother and the kid 20 minutes in, particularly that kid. He just annoyed the fuck out of me. I was really let down. It was like the last 20 minutes were the most enjoyable. Otherwise, this would have gotten a 2 out of 10. I gave it a 4. So there we go, The Babadook. And then You're Next. Finally watched this. And to Ryan, my best bud, Justin, Ryan 1988. I loved it. 9 out of 10. Great movie. I loved the score. Kind of bummed that one of the actresses in it got killed off pretty quick. But I loved it. It was awesome. So You're Next, 9 out of 10. Not horror, but my god. It's my childhood. Ernest Scared Stupid. It's a great, great childhood favorite. It's goofy, it's funny, it's earnest. And I, probably like a lot of us 80s kids, grew up with Ernest. He's so awesome. Even though some of the stuff is like so over our heads now or whatever. But I love Ernest P. Worrell. He's one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid. So, Ernest Scared Stupid. I am gonna get a lot of flack for this. This was one first time viewing I was so looking forward to. Boy, another disappointment. It Follows, it's just so bland, dull, boring. The soundtrack, the score to this film was the only thing that's great. The premise was interesting, but I mean, I even have a feeling this would work better as a sex comedy than it would a horror film. I was like, oh my god. And even certain scenes creep me out, but I mean, it was just so bad. It was terrible. It was such a letdown, like the Babadook. And this got a 3 out of 10. And the last first time viewing of my 31 Days of Horror. And then I watched Sleepy Hollow, one horror film I watch every Halloween. This will never change. I love it. It's my favorite Tim Burton film, favorite Johnny Depp Tim Burton collaboration. I absolutely love this film. And number 145, and the last one of the marathon, The Conjuring. You cannot go wrong with this. I think this is the greatest horror film of this decade. Oh, it is such a great movie. It doesn't rely on blood, but it's just the creep factor, the music, and just the visuals scare the hell out of me. Even now, when I've watched it a few times, it's a great, great horror film. So there's my 31 Days of Horror. So as usual, well, we already know what my 2 worst picks are. But I say the best picks are You're Next and Scanners for my first time viewing. Overall, it was very disappointing year for the first time viewings. I did have some good ones. I had, as you can tell, a lot of bad ones. That pile right there on top of the popcorn with VHS 2, that's the pile that's going into the pawn pile. Yes, Army of Darkness is below that, but I've got the better edition, and I love Army of Darkness. Overall, Scanners, You're Next, and Masters of Horror: The Black Cat were the greatest first-time viewings of this year. But yeah, I'm still pissed off at myself. And The Purge was also another good one. And Bride of Reanimator as well. Maybe I'll do a video showing off which ones were the best, like my top 5. Probably better. Still disappointed at myself that I didn't hit 150. I actually think trying to pound out The Walking Dead screwed me up. I should have just done an episode a day, and that would have worked out better. But next year, I will plan it better. The ones I didn't get through, which I'm so mad about, but I will watch these. Frighteners is not a first time viewing, but these I'm gonna get through. I'm gonna get through a lot of my damn first time viewings before the end of the year. So yeah, guys, that is what I watched my last week of my 31 Days of Horror. So yeah, some good, some bad this year, some very terrible ones. But my next video, hold on, just give me 5 minutes. Yeah. My next video will be up in a little while. I will do showing off my top 5 favorite blind buy first time viewings of this 31 Days of Horror. So until then, guys, have a great and safe night. Watch a shitload of movies. And of course, as always, rate, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.